It's been a crazy week of NFL free agency, and we've been covering it all week long. To make sure you don't miss a moment of anything about the Washington Commanders, you guys have to hit that sub button. You got to turn on that bell notifications. That way, every time we make a video, you get notified about it. The most elite Commanders free agency coverage is right here, so if you haven't already, hit that sub button. We got a ton to talk about on the Commanders report today. Let's start with last night with a signing for the Washington Commanders. Dietrich Wise, 1 year, $5 million deal. I think this was a fantastic signing. Honestly, maybe one of my favorites of the entire offseason so far. I think Dietrich Wise is an incredibly underrated player. He brings so much to the team in his ability to get to the passer, also stop the run, but also as a leader as well. He was a captain in New England, had a phenomenal career right there, and was really loved by teammates, coaches, pretty much everybody in that entire organization. Fun fact for everybody, I went to an Arkansas football game when Dietrich Wise was a high school commit. In 2011, my dad and I sat next to him. Fun fact, Dietrich Wise, welcome to the nation's capital. Early this morning, KJ Osborne re-signed with the Washington Commanders. That's on a 1-year deal as well. The full details of that contract are to be announced. I talked about it in the short. This one's an exciting one for me. I don't know if I get too jazzed up about it. I don't know if anybody should or would get too jazzed up about it. KJ Osborne only had 57 receiving yards in 2024, and none of those were with the Washington Commanders. Okay, he was originally drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, dealt with some injuries, then spent some time in New England as well, then was released in the middle of the year, picked up later in the year by Washington, only played in one game, did not log a single stat, but obviously Cliff Kingsbury, Dan Quinn, everybody else in that offense is confident in his abilities and maybe has some good plans for him to do something in the 2025 NFL season. He now joins the wide receiver room with Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel. That thing just got a whole lot better. Let's talk offensive line, shall we? Because Michael Deiter is re-signing with the Washington Commanders. The full details are to be announced. And Michael Deiter was a guy that, you know what? Let's call a spade a spade. He didn't have a phenomenal season, a 51.1 overall PFF grade, but he's a familiar face in that offensive line group. He's a solid depth piece, a guy that you can, rely on if someone goes down, like in the first playoff game against Tampa Bay, right? Michael Deiter stepped up, had a pretty decent game against the Buccaneers. This move is kind of one of those, it's like, okay, I kind of think they're just keeping him around to just, have a solid backup plan and one that's familiar to them, one that's known on this offensive line in that room and with Dan Quinn as well. Noah Brown re-signed with the Washington Commanders, 1-year deal worth $4.5 million. Noah Brown, most famously known for catching that Hail Mary game-winning pass against the Chicago Bears. His most electric moment probably in his NFL career, definitely his time with Washington. When Noah Brown was originally signed by the Commanders, I was really, really excited about it. I like Noah Brown a lot. I think he's a phenomenal wide receiver 3, and that's exactly what he'll be this year. I think last year he had a little bit of pressure to, at times, have to step up and take a little bit of responsibility as a wide receiver 2. He got injured late in the year, didn't play the tail half of it, but I think coming off of an injured year, now being a step back and being that wide receiver 3, I think that's going to take the pressure on him off of him just a tad. I'm really excited to see what he'll be able to do behind Deebo Samuel, behind Terry McLaurin, and really excited to see if he focuses on being in his role, excelling in his role, not having to do much more than that wide receiver 2 spot. Just catch the ball when you're open. Catch the ball when you're thrown to. You're not going to be a go-to guy, but when the ball comes your way, make a play with it. Noah Brown, 1-year, $4.5 million deal. Sheldon Day also re-signing with the Washington Commanders. Today's just a massive day for re-signings for Washington. Adam Peters has been incredibly busy. Sheldon Day was a guy who kind of came on later in the season, in my opinion, as a really good run-stop option for Washington. And I think that's something that was kind of missing from the beginning of the year. Now, I'm not going to come out here and say Sheldon Day is going to have a Jonathan Allen-like impact on the defensive line, because he's not. But I think kind of like, and even more than Michael Deiter, he's a really solid depth piece, And if you use him on early downs to take away the run, I think he's really good in that facet. 6'1", 293 pounds, had 24 tackles in 2024. Again, he's not going to be a household name. He's not going to go out there and get you 50 tackles in a season, but he can be the guy that gives those starters a little bit of rest at the midway point, maybe a little bit later in the game when you need them at their freshest down the tail end in the past couple of drives. He excels in stopping the run, and that's really something that this team needs. Get out your red pens for me and grade Washington's free agency moves A, B, C, D, or F. How do you feel about them? What do you think about them? Let me know in the comment section. While you're down there, go ahead and click the link, Commanders shirt or chatsports.com/Commanders shirt to get yours for 50% off. Okay, I'm always trying to look for a good deal. I'm a frugal guy. Some might call me cheap Tex. I prefer the word frugal, and there's not a better deal right now out there than this Commander shirt for just 50% off, okay? So if you go to chatsports.com/Commander shirt, you can get this classic Commanders t-shirt for just 50% off. Again, the link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. Let's talk about free agency, and let's start with some of the guys that the Washington Commanders have lost. Dyami Brown signed a deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jeremy Chin, probably the most impactful exit in my opinion, signed a deal with the Las Vegas Raiders. Cornelius Lucas has gone to the Cleveland Browns. Jonathan Allen, thank you so much for all your service in Washington. He's gone with the Minnesota Vikings. Derek Forrest, Benjamin St. Juste, these are two guys that made their exits yesterday, signing with the Buffalo Bills and with the Los Angeles Chargers. It's funny, I saw when the Benjamin St. Juste news was announced, I saw someone reply to the tweet and say, hey, how is he, right? Is he just an average guy, or is he some guy who could do great? That had 119 replies. So Benjamin St. Toast is out of here. I am not that upset about it. I can tell you that, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get out of here, I want you to do something for me. Get in the comment section down below and name a player you want the Commanders to sign in free agency. Just started on Monday. We got a long way to go, even though they've made a ton of moves. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, ladies and gentlemen, you have found the place for the best Washington Commanders content. And if you want it for free, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button. We bring you a video every single day. We've given you breaking news coverage for the entirety of this week. This has been the busiest week on the channel by far, and we're doing it just because of you guys. Support us here, hit that sub button, lock us in, and we'll see you next time.